Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna talk about vintage handbags, and I do want to say a lot in the matter. I recently got a new vintage bag, but also I think the topic about buying vintage versus new is quite big lately with all the price increases and the quality issues that some of these fashion houses have been having. And the other day I was actually reading an article that it was saying that vintage bags are more rare to find now because there is such high demand. So I wanted to kind of deep dive and just give like my opinion and the bags that I do think that are best to buy vintage than new if you want to save some money and you're definitely not interested in going through the store experience. So I want to focus on 5 fashion houses, and I'm gonna do a little bit of one more. So I think Hermès, Chanel, Louis Vuitton, Dior and Gucci are like the top 5 that we all know and love. I know that Gucci isn't like that weird area, but I also wanted to talk a little bit about Celine on this video because there's a few vintage Celine bags that have been catching my eyes so much. I want to start with the ones that I personally own and the reasons why I went for them, starting with one that makes sense because I cannot find this leather at the store as easy. So this is my vintage Hermès Kelly, and this one is in box leather and the bag is from 1995. I was aiming to get my birth year, but I was born in 1996, so this is 1 year older than me. It is a vintage bag. I was looking up and down for the perfect bag because one thing that you need to note when you're buying vintage bags is that you want to find a bag with a good price point, but that it's also a very good condition, because these bags are like investments for your closet and they do increase their value a lot. So when I got this one, it was still like a very good price, but when these bags became super trendy on the pre-love market, they went up very fast, and before you could get them a little bit below retail. This is something that I do want to note. Some vintage bags are gonna be more expensive, especially when it comes to Hermès, than if you would buy new from the store. But that is because quality and also because you cannot really get them in the store anymore. So I try to see it as collector's pieces. I know that it sounds insane, but they're way better priced than if you were to buy a brand new or almost new Hermès bag on the secondhand market, because those go on the 20,000 minimum, then 20,000, 30,000. So prices for Hermès are insane. Let's just know that. So going for vintage, you kind of assure yourself that you're gonna get what you want for a very similar price on the store and that the quality is there. This bag is from 1995, and look at the condition and how shiny the leather is. I personally love the look of vintage bags. Also, Birkins and Kellys have increased 153% in the last 10 years. It's calculated that they're gonna be around the 50,000 pounds by 2028. So again, I always say don't buy these bags as investments because anything can happen to them, but if you get one, it's very rare that you're gonna lose your money on them. As you can see, they will hold up very well with time. So I think that if you're someone that is struggling a lot with the Hermès system, going vintage is probably gonna be like the best way to go. I've seen some constants that go for insanely good prices. I've seen actually Lux having really good deals on Hermès bags lately. So highly recommend you check their website out in case you're looking for any vintage Hermès bag in a decent price. So yeah, this is a no-brainer for me. I think it's better to buy it than a brand new on the pre-love market because they go for astronomical amounts. The quality is here and the bag is gonna look good for years and years to come. Second brand that I wanted to talk about is for sure Dior. I'm obsessed with Dior lately, and this is my new to me Lady Dior in the, I think, medium size. Honestly, the Lady Dior sizes, they confuse me quite a lot. So this bag is also vintage, and I just want you to note on the shininess of the leather, how it's still puffy, and the hardware. Just to note on, these bags are meant to last if they use the best quality. So this bag is insanely beautiful. I am yet to receive a Samorga organizer for it because these bags will come with a little bit of loss of structure, maybe flatness. Like they're not gonna be as puffy or scratches and stuff like that. If the pair owner was really good to the bag, it will still puffy and shiny. I think I have a video on how I care and store my bags, but maybe I need to make a new one because that was like a few years ago. But basically my best recommendation to you to make your handbags last is store them inside your dust bag if it's very important for you. I don't do it that often because I like to look at them, but not overstuffing them. Don't have any direct sunlight coming in where you'd store them. Like if you're out and about, it's completely fine. And of course, like don't sit on your bags or put them on the floor and trash them. I just try to treat my bags good enough so they last me so many years that hopefully the ones that I have bought new look like this or like this in 20 years from now. But I think buying Lady Dior's on the vintage market is gonna be very good because first of all, Dior doesn't really maintain their resale value. So Lady Dior's already, if you buy one, you're gonna kind of instantly lose a little bit unless it's a very limited edition bag. So you can find things quite new already below retail. Now if you want a really good deal, if you go for vintage, you're gonna find Lady Dior's in really good conditions for very good prices. Like this one was a steal of a deal, so for me it was like, of course I wanted. And Lady Dior's are classics, same as Hermès. These bags in 20 years are still gonna be relevant and you're still gonna want to use it. And I honestly believe that Dior is probably better than Gucci in my eyes, and Louis Vuitton, but Louis Vuitton is a little bit more classic in that sense. So yeah, I think if you want a Lady Dior, going for the vintage or pre-off market is the best thing you can do, going to the store, unless you want something like very new season, sparkles, pearls, something like that, then save your money, go vintage. Of course, I'm gonna talk about Chanel. I've been having like a love-hate relationship with Chanel lately, where I absolutely love everything that I see vintage, but the new releases that I see from them are quite underwhelming, and when I go to the stores and I see the prices, it's just way too much for me. So I do believe that if you really want a classic flap or like a Diana bag, which I love the Diana bag, there's so many bags that you can buy from Chanel on the vintage market that are on the 5,000 mark instead of the 10, 11,000 of the brand new ones. So this is my vintage classic flap and I have it in the beige. I think the most important thing to note when it comes to vintage Chanel is that they used to make them in gold plating. They don't do that anymore. You're getting more bang for your buck when you buy vintage. Also, the quality of the bags used to be way better, and this is not just me who thinks this. Like, I feel like there's been a whole debate about Chanel quality decreasing over the years, and I do believe that their peak was like in the 90s. So this bag is from 1996, exactly my birth year. I wish that I would use this bag more than I actually do. I think it's stunning, and let me do close-ups for you. So you can see the gold plating. When here you can see a little mark, that means that the bag has gold plating. The quills on this bag are deflated. Personally, I like the look. I understand if it's not for you, so you can find other pieces that still have the puffiness to them, but eventually every single Chanel bag with a few years, this is going to happen. I feel like something about vintage bags is like the vibe and style that they give to your outfit. Vintage bags have like, I don't know how to explain it, but I like a lot when I see people using them, a little bit more when I see brand new. Also, the part of giving a second life to the bags that someone else is not using anymore. I mean, this bag still has a ton to give and you're saving a lot of money and you're getting a beautiful bag for quite a good price point. I mean, for me it's easier to use vintage bags because my mentality behind this is someone already owned this bag and used it and really loved it. I can go straight away and start using it without having to worry, because there's nothing that bag hasn't already been through, sort of, and it's still perfect. So if you're someone who's quite afraid of buying a bag and then using it because you're gonna scratch it, you're gonna stain it, something's gonna happen to it, buying vintage is a very good way to dip your toes into this sort of pieces. Without a doubt, the bags that I feel the most comfortable in are my vintage bags, because I just feel like if they've been this perfect for so long, I can for sure comfortably use them and not do anything like significant to them. And if I do, it's part of the life of the bag. I once saw on Minx for All, she also has a YouTube channel about handbags, and she would say that it's part of the history and the character of the bag, and I kind of agree. When I originally started buying bags, I was so concerned about every single thing that I would do to them, and now I honestly feel comfortable. If I scratch it, it's fine. If there's a little bit of color transfer, of course you try to take the most care of them that you want, but they're bags at the end of the day, and they're not made to be just there on a shelf saved for a special occasion. They're meant to be used on your day-to-day life. Now let's talk about Gucci. When I started my YouTube channel, I was obsessed with Gucci. One of my favorite bags and the first ones that I had on my wish list was the Gucci Marmont. Let me tell you that Gucci, despite right now being on a low, they're one of the most sold vintage brands in the entire market. I don't know why people always come back to Gucci. They're just a classic. They're maybe right now not having their best moment, but they will eventually come back. So there's plenty of Gucci bags that you can find for a very good price right now that they're not under hike, because this is how the market evolves. When a brand is doing very well, well, all of the pre-loved and vintage pieces will go up, and when the brand is not doing very well, the prices go down. So if you like something, don't get in your head about the trends and what people are saying and what you see on the news, on celebrities. If you like, let's say, the Gucci Blondie, I think right now is the right time to buy it because Gucci is like quite just right there. I remember when they were releasing the Gucci t-shirts, so they were sold out everywhere. But you can find shoes, wallets, bags, totes, like anything that you can think of vintage from Gucci, and they will always come back. Saddlebags too. If you are into Gucci, I would say now's your time. But always, one of the things that I want to touch on, always authenticate, shop safely. There's a lot of places that don't sell authentic bags. Even if they look real, you always have to double check. Even if you trust wherever you're buying it from, you should double authenticate yourself. That's my biggest advice for anyone out there. I always do that for myself, just for my peace of mind. And if you ever want to resell the bag, you have your own authenticity certificate to give to the new buyer. I usually never buy to resell, but I always know that there is a possibility that if I need the money, any of my bags can be used to sell them and make the money back. And the last one that I want to talk about is going to be Louis Vuitton, and Louis Vuitton is a classic. Again, they are also on their low. If it were up to me, I would buy the trunks. They have so many things that you can definitely find on pawn shops and places that, again, if you authenticate, you may find very, very good deals. And I very much prefer the look of very vintage Louis Vuitton bags rather than the new ones, because lately they have a lot of pastels and animal print, and I am more of a person that likes the original Louis Vuitton, and yes, the Tamir band, the monogram canvas, or the leathers, and the pieces are usually a very good price. Also, something that you can note is that if you buy a very vintage piece from Louis Vuitton and you take it in, you can actually pay and they will replace the vachetta on the piece. The vachetta is this leather section, the one that has the patina and that can get the water spots, and usually where the age shows a little bit more. So if you replace the vachetta, the bag or SLG or trunk, it's gonna look almost brand new. But there's something about vintage vachetta that if it has not cracked, I think it looks amazing. I believe that the brand has so much history that goes beyond the new seasons that we have been seeing, and I do prefer the vintage look. So if you think about it, by buying vintage, you're giving a second life to another bag. And I also think that there's amazing deals out there. It's just having time, sitting down and looking for it. But there's also the fact about buying new, that when you buy new from boutique, you have 100% certainty that what you're buying is authentic. And also you have the store experience, but also I think that if you buy from resellers or pages that have good packaging and good customer service, you still have that feeling of buying maybe online but new from store. But I would love to know if you guys like vintage or you prefer brand new. I think it's just a matter of personal style. For me, I like to balance them out. I really like to find very good vintage pieces. I also recently got a niece from Louis Vuitton that I may replace the vachetta at the store, so if I get to do that, I'll let you guys know. But Celine is also a very good option. Like this bag, I'm gonna show you a picture. I'm very much in love with it, and I would definitely prefer to buy that one over the classic or the Triomphe new from store. I would just need to buy one that is in very, very good condition for me to actually go for it, and we'll update you on how this bag goes. I've also been thinking, like, it has some creases, and I've seen some YouTubers put the blow dryer with a cloth and it just evens the bag out. I'm a little bit scared about doing that, but I could also try that. This was my video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you're into my channel, please consider subscribing and click the notification bell down below so you don't miss any of my videos. And if you're not done watching, I'm gonna leave you 2 videos right here in case you want to check them out. Thank you and see you on the next one. Bye.